Have you ever wanted to give your partner such intense pleasure that she literally can't take it anymore and has to tap out? I had a client who recently brought up that he was obsessed with this. In fact, he had been working with me for a while and he finally let this go. He said I've achieved all of the other goals that I had except for one, which is that she's never actually had to tap out. And the discovery of this goal and the coaching that I gave him led to some shocking and unexpected discoveries, and I'm super excited to share them with you today. So this client has a really great relationship with his girlfriend. They actually have a pretty epic sex life. He's been playing with his dominance. She's super kinky and pretty much down for anything. In fact, I kind of thought that we were good. It turned out for him that giving his girlfriend an orgasm or 3 or 4 just wasn't enough. He wanted to know that he could give her so much pleasure that she literally couldn't take it. He wanted to give her something that she had never experienced before. And I get it, makes sense. I mean, imagine the feeling of power and satisfaction that could come from pushing your partner all the way over the edge. I mean, I've worked with clients who enjoy this kind of play and do this kind of thing on purpose, and it can be fun territory if you do it right. But it also can be dangerous, physically and emotionally. And I don't think a lot of men understand this. And the law of unintended consequences is very real. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why. But first, it's really important that we get clear on what actually causes a woman to need to tap out. So literally, whether you've done it on purpose or on accident, if a woman has to tap out during sex, it's because her nervous system has been overwhelmed. The sensations that she's feeling are more than she can endure, and what that looks like is gonna be very different for each woman. Some women might use their safe word, they might cry out for a break. On the extreme, she might even lose consciousness. And yeah, if we're talking about people losing consciousness, passing out, it's pretty clear that this is something that we should not take lightly. First, let me say this. Whatever overwhelms the nervous system acts on everything that the nervous system controls. So it acts on the heart, could cause a drop in blood pressure. It acts on the lungs. It could cause a temporary loss of oxygenation to the brain, depending on how you do it. So this is not a joke. And when I shared that with my client, he was surprised. What really surprised him was that he had not really actually thought of all of those things. He just wanted to make her tap out, right? And that's kind of where it ended for him. And he was expecting me to give him a roadmap, but instead I hit him with a series of questions that are critical to answer before you give this a go. If you want to your woman to the point of overwhelm, then you better be asking these things yourself. Because as Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. So I asked my client if making her tap out was about giving her pleasure or if there might be something else that was motivating his desires. I mean, especially because he wanted to give her something that she'd never experienced before, which said to me that it was less about giving her what she needs in the bedroom and more about securing his spot as the one person that did something that nobody else could. I mean, with any desire, it's great to ask, why is it that I actually want this? Because I want to feel like I have a sense of power over my partner? Is it a boost to my ego? I think it's going to make me feel more confident. Or am I trying to prove something to her or prove something to myself? In my experience, there is always something deeper to your desires. And if you find that you're trying to prove something to yourself or your partner, it is important to be very clear on why you think that you have something to prove before you take action that somebody could get hurt. I mean, for my client, he realized that he didn't feel like he was enough, at his core. And I get that. We all have had that experience. He loved his girlfriend. He wanted to do something for her that she'd never experienced. He wanted to give his all to her and have her reaction of passing out be the thing that let him know that he was enough. Which brings me to my next question, which is, what would it prove? Okay, so hypothetically, I said to my client, you get your girlfriend to tap out. Now what? At which point he just stared at me like a deer in headlights. To which I said, then what will be your next goal, right? Okay, so previously you just wanted to last long enough to have her have an orgasm. Then you wanted to get good at dominating her so that you could play with some BDSM stuff. Now you want her to tap out. When will it ever be enough? And what I said to him, which is some of the best advice that was ever given to me, is when you don't know you're enough, you don't know when enough is enough. So you'll keep moving the target Each time you hit it, you have maybe a brief moment of satisfaction and you celebrate yourself, and then you're on to the next thing. I'm all for having a sense of achievement in sex, like being able to last longer than you ever did before, giving her a harder, better, more amazing orgasm than she's ever had before. That is awesome. But at a certain point, you have to just acknowledge that enough is enough. And you can actually just get better and better at the things that you're already doing without having to add more and more fuel to the fire. The same week that I had that session with my client, I got an email from a young fan in South Africa who said that he was having issues with his girlfriend passing out after orgasming. He was emailing me to ask what he could do to stop her from passing out. His problem was literally the opposite. His girlfriend was prone to losing consciousness after orgasm, and when she woke up, she would often be dealing with a migraine. So sex was sucking for them. The truth is, her nervous system was getting so overwhelmed that it was causing real issues in their relationship. And by the way, there are a number of reasons that your partner might be passing out after sex. This is not a video about that, but Scarlettine had a great article on it. You can check that out. This could actually be a sign of something way more serious that requires immediate medical attention. So go to the physician, go to your healthcare provider, exactly as I said to them. This is a great question to ask yourself. Does your girlfriend, your partner, your wife actually want to go there, right? Because you might be thinking, I'm gonna get her to tap out, and that might actually be a violation of her consent. She might actually not desire that experience at all, and you surprising her or forcing that on her isn't what a good partner would do. So after he realized that his goal of making her pass out was actually more about him and not really about her, and he hadn't considered what some of the consequences might be, and he hadn't even asked her if she wanted it, then we went into the last bit of coaching that I gave him. Look, it's no secret that porn is chock full of women getting silly until they just can't stand it. And it's no secret that the most easily accessible porn comes from the perspective of the man giving it and the woman taking it. I've said it before. Please make sure you're subscribed so that you can hear me when I say it again. Porn is not real sex. Sex is not porn, and we shouldn't expect porn to actually mirror and reflect what our sex life looks like. Most of the time, the woman that you see on your cell phone or your laptop who's overwhelmed by the railing that she's getting until she passes out actually is just doing that to earn her paycheck, and good for her. But if you're consistently masturbating to these kinds of videos, it is no wonder why you might start thinking, hey, is it possible that I could do that to my human woman partner? And look, your desires are valid. All of your desires are valid. Your freakiest, kinkiest, cruelest, strangest desires, all valid. Have your desires. But before you act on them, make sure that you have all of the information necessary so that you can do it safely. I invited my client to look a little bit deeper, and he had some eye-opening epiphanies. And in fact, once he learned about all of the work that goes into making someone pass out or tap out from sex, he was way less interested in trying that and more interested in just playing with the edges, like going all the way up to her edge and his edge, finding out what was just at the edge of their comfort zone, at the edge of what they had tried before, and making it really about the two of them together and the sex that they're having, instead of him needing to perform as great as a porn star and forcing her into a little like messy puddle of human on the floor. Maybe she'll be interested in it eventually, and if so, then there's plenty of ways to make it happen at that time. We didn't discuss all those here, so before you do any of that, make sure that you do the research on whatever it is that you're playing with. That's final. All right, in the end, they found that they like to have pleasurable, exhausting sex that pushed the edge of intensity without crossing into territory that feels unsafe. And that's what works best for the two of them. I mean, to quote Hunter S. Thompson, the only people who really know where the edge are the ones who have gone over it. As someone who's gone over plenty edges myself, I can say there is validity to playing all the way out. You just have to know that you're doing it safely. And we did not talk about safety precautions inside of this video, so please do not think that you are ready to go out there and start doing wild shit in bed. This video was not the training video for you. You're gonna need to consult some experts on all that stuff. All right, so take it from me and maybe Hunter S. Thompson, play in the extremes, do it safely, and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.